I do want to talk about travel now. I know San Diego is a place that many people want to stay and not leave, but Cuba also a very interesting adventure place.
You can fly in and out. And Steve Marshall is joining us, the CEO and director of CubAventures.com. And Steve, we should start right off the bat by letting our viewers know that you've lived in Cuba for 12 years.
Yes, that's true. Yeah.
And what is the main thing that people should know when it comes to booking a trip to Cuba?
Well, first of all, there are a lot of Americans interested in visiting Cuba now. To put it into perspective, you have 37,000 hotel rooms in San Diego. There are 68,000 hotel rooms in the whole of Cuba.
The whole
Cuba
country?
is the whole country. And Cuba is the same size as Florida. Okay, so just to put it in perspective in terms of you know, how many rooms, hotel rooms, and the availability. Secondly, Americans should be looking at visiting the historic 500-year-old cities such as Trinidad, Holguin, Baracoa, and those cities, and not be uniquely focused on Havana.
I see.
And what's there to do in Cuba? Before we get into more of the details of how to get there, I mean, look at this video. It's beautiful. You've lived there. Tell us what's there to do.
Well, you have the two sides of Cuba. Obviously, you have the historic side. You've got 500-year-old cities there, right? Which is, you know, an adventure in itself, just going and seeing the architecture and and these colonial buildings. But you also have the countryside. You have ecotourism. You have the mountains, and then you have all the cliches, which is the 50-year-old cars, the old American cars.
Right.
You have the salsa dancing. You have the music. Cuba is quite an incredible place.
And the cigars. Can't forget those.
Of course, the cigars. Now Americans can bring back $100 worth of cigars, which is quite a few cigars. Previously banned, of course. And so any cigar aficionados that are out there, well, now's your time.
Let's double back to where you were talking about such a small amount of hotel rooms. If somebody is trying to book a trip there, what do they need to do? Is it just a matter of booking way in advance, or what?
Yeah, I mean, if you're looking at periods such as Christmas time and also any other main holiday, you want to be trying to book, for example, from a Tuesday onwards, and then you're not going through like Friday and Saturday. And you also want to take into consideration what in Cuba are called casa particulares, which are these private homes, bed and breakfast essentially. Some of these places now are as good as a quality as the hotels that you'll find in Cuba.
Kind of like Airbnbs here.
Exactly, yeah. I mean, we have, we're uploading 4,000. We currently have over 350 on our websites. And again, visiting some of these cities, you want to be looking at Trinidad, 500-year-old city, Baracoa. Those cities, you can visit them on our websites, cubatrinidad.com, cubabaracoa.com, cubahavana.com, and get an insight into these places before actually visiting. But don't just focus on Havana.
And real quick, I do want to mention driving there. It's not necessarily a good idea.
It isn't. Cuba has these quirky laws where if any tourist is involved in an accident, until the actual accident has, well, at least the event has been resolved in the court, then they will limit you leaving the country.
Oh, you're stuck.
So if you don't want an extended stay in Cuba, then
take a cab.
Take a cab.
Okay.
One of those old cars.
Exactly,
old
probably better.
Aren't all the cabs classics?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
these classic cars, and so
it's going to be interesting
I
to
wouldn't
see
take
when those old cars start making their way into the U.S. and people trick them out and refurbish them and things like that.
Yeah, well, you know what? Some of these cars, what they've done is they've installed. You remember the old Russian Ladas, the old Russian cars? They don't have the same engines as they did before, and they've been modified, but even still they look very nice from the outside. Yes.
Beautiful.
Steve Marshall, thank you for joining us.
Thank you very much.
Great information.
CubAventures.com. Get all that info.